So this is a short video on using Tailwind CSS with just HTML without any JavaScript toolkit or library like React or Angular, Vue, etc. So Tailwind is a utility first CSS library. I'm not going to go over those aspects. What we are going to go over is how to install it using Node.js. Well, knowledge of Node.js is not required. Configure it and configure the HTML to consume it and use Tailwind CSS classes to build up a HTML page. So let's initialize a project using npm init, and then I'll open this project in code editor. I'm using a Visual Studio Code here, and once we have this opened up, you can see that the package.json is initialized. What I'm going to do is install Tailwind CSS now, which I'm going to do by npm install -d Tailwind CSS. So now you would see that node modules is installed and Tailwind is added as a dev dependency. I'm going to initialize Tailwind now, and npx tailwind css init. This will create a new file, tailwind config.js. I'm not going to touch this right now, but I'm going to create index file or HTML file where I'm going to create some template. I'm going to keep it in src. So once I have index.html, let's fill it up. And if I open this document in the browser now, so let me bring that up in the browser. So it's a blank document. I forgot to add any body. I'm going to add a head with some header. And now if I refresh the page, you'll see just an HTML, so nothing interesting. So let's add a CSS file here. I'm going to give it a background color. Yeah, not best of the colors, but yeah, it should work. So if I refresh the page now, yeah, I have to include the file first. Yeah. So which will be input.css. And if I refresh the page, you get the color now. So in next section, I'm going to add Tailwind CSS. So now in the input CSS, I'm updating with Tailwind stuff here. So this is standard stuff, and I'm running it with the Tailwind preprocessor. So if you see in the dist folder, it has generated this output.css file, which is basic thing that Tailwind CSS spits out. So this CSS now I can include in the body and start using Tailwind CSS here. So this is where the magic starts. So let's give it give it a color. So I think I'm going to give it a background color of slate so that it's prominent, and some text color. And yeah, I forgot to add this processor, the file that needs to be processed, so including that. Now I'm going back to the file. I've added some classes, CSS classes, that's from Tailwind CSS. So if you look at the HTML page now, you would see that it is already styled. So I've forwarded it by few things. So if you see so this slate color is here, and if I refresh the page, so let me give it some main body as well with some content. So that's come down. So I'm going to give it a container so that it gives a padding around the edges. So this container will do the job, and I need to give margin auto, which will center the content. I will do the same thing for main as well. So if you see, the header went there in the center. I'll copy this same content. Yeah, before that, let me give some padding on the top and bottom. So these are all classes that I'm using from Tailwind, and to replicate this even for the main section. So this is also center aligned, and let's make it like a hero unit or something like that. So I just skipped some of the sections, but you can see that I'm creating a footer here now, and that is all about Tailwind CSS. So you can find more information in the description on the relevant blog post that is linked here in the description.